For today's Free Kids Cooking class, we are going to be making dirt cup dessert. So this is really fun and it's really easy and it's delicious. So hopefully you have some fun with it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to make chocolate pudding. So I have a chocolate pudding mix and I'm going to put that in my bowl, and then I'm going to add 2 cups of cold milk. You can even we're making little cups today, like just individual, but you can even do this like a 9 by 13 inch pan and do it like a big dessert, or even for like a kid's birthday party. Okay, so I put in I forgot my measuring cup. Okay, so measuring cup, 2 cups of milk, and I put in my chocolate pudding mix. So 1 cup. Okay. And now I have a whisk, and I'm just going to whisk it up until it's all mixed together. Now, if you've never made pudding before, this is not going to turn into pudding. It's going to look more like chocolate milk. We are going to put it in the refrigerator, and it's going to have to set in there, and it can take a couple of hours. So, for the sake of this show, I already have some pudding in the refrigerator. But for you, go ahead and do it this way, right? You just mix up your pudding, and then you are going to have to put it in the refrigerator and let it set. And then when it's done setting, you're good to go, right? When it's a nice, like, pudding consistency, you know, it's thick and good. But you want to mix it all up really well, right? You don't want to have little chocolate, like, lumps in there, because then you won't have a nice smooth pudding. So mix, mix, mix. Okay, so that looks pretty good. You can even do this with electric beaters, and it'll even get it more smooth and go a little bit faster. So that's an option as well. So I'm actually going to put a lid on mine, only because then I don't have to worry about it soaking up other smells in the refrigerator. And I'm going to put it in the fridge. And then when we need the other pudding, I'll just grab it out. Okay, so that pudding is in the fridge setting, and now we are going to do the rest of, we're going to set up the rest of the recipe, and then we'll get the pudding out when we need it. So we are going to take some Oreo cookies. The recipe calls for 18, but honestly, just do however many you want for however many cups you're making. So I am only going to be making 1 cup, right, just for like just 1. You probably might be making more, of course. But for 1, I'll just do 5 Oreos. Okay, maybe I'll do 6. I did 6. Who knows? Now I'm going to take, so you can do this, I should have said, this is my chopper, right? This is what I use to chop everything. So you, of course, could do it with a knife and a cutting board if you don't have one of these. Or, of course, you could put your Oreos in a Ziploc bag, and then you can mash them up with your hands or with maybe like a spoon or the handle of like a utensil, right? You can mash it up with whatever you want. So you just want to crumble up your Oreos. Okay, so I now have crumbled up Oreos, right? They're just all in crumbs. So to do this recipe, now I'm using this cup because it's clear. That's the only reason I'm using it. But of course, use any cup that you have, right? So I'm going to take my Oreos and put them in the bottom first. So this is why it's called a dirt cup dessert, right? The Oreos, when they're all crumbled up, represent dirt. So I'm going to put all of them in. Well, maybe not. It's a little too many. Should have done 4 or 5. Okay, so I have my layer of dirt. Now I'm going to get my pudding. Okay, so like I said, I already have pudding that's set up and ready to go. So your pudding is your next layer. And I like to make sure all the Oreos are covered with pudding at least. And then the last layer is Cool Whip, all right? So if you have whipped cream, anything, I mean, it's all great, right? So I just have some Cool Whip here, and that is my last layer. And now we have 3 layers of deliciousness. We have our crumbled up Oreos, our pudding, and then our Cool Whip on the top. Now, something that is also fun about the Dirt Cup dessert is you can top it with anything, right? So I'm gonna put a couple of sprinkles on mine because I love sprinkles, right? And that's kind of like a birthday cake, right? Or like a birthday party. But what's also fun, especially if you do like a 9 by 13 inch pan of this dessert, is you can do gummy worms or even gummy bears, but you can make it anything you want. And gummy worms are fun because it looks like dirt and worms live in the dirt. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's class. Thanks for joining.